Good morning, traders. How's everybody doing on this fantastic Tuesday morning? We got jolts coming up at 10. We got about 13 minutes till the bell, so we're going to take a look at a few things and see if we can't find ourselves some setups this morning. I think it should be, yesterday we ended up shorting Fartcoin, and before the live stream was over, it didn't really do anything. It was basically choppy all morning, and then late evening yesterday around 4 o'clock this thing dumped. Like that's almost a 6% move right there in that one candle. So big move lower, literally giving back all of July's range. So right now this morning you're testing the July open. So I obviously I didn't see that coming, but that's a big move lower. That's a big move. So I don't really know what's going on with this thing other than it's a meme coin and it's a really fun asset to trade. But yeah, that was a pretty big collapse yesterday. So we did pretty good. I did pretty good at the end of the day with just a very small position. I have two current positions open right now. One, here they are. Let me go ahead and show you those to you real quick. This is WUSD. I essentially just shorted the 4-hour candle when it made a new high, and I'm going to hold this for now. Small position, nothing major, and then I have a short on hype that I took yesterday. If I can get this over here, there we go. So yesterday I took it. I actually top ticked it, but the position was too small. It wasn't really doing anything while it was moving. So when it pulled back, I ended up taking another short entry, and that dropped. It essentially just dropped my cost basis. So nothing major there. This is a bigger position. So if it does take off to the downside, don't know if it will, obviously, but if it does, then I'm positioned nicely for it. This is not a meme token. This token actually has utility. It's hyper liquid exchange. It's a pretty big deal. A lot of people like it. So I don't know that this is going to roll over. I don't know that any alts or Bitcoin is ever going to roll over. All I'm doing is managing my money, right? I'm just putting it on where I think an opportunity may be, and then taking small losses when I'm wrong. So essentially that's all I am doing. Hopefully everybody's having a good day. Let's see if we can't find something to get into today. So here is Hyperliquid. It is actually bullish. Its structure is bullish. Here is the RSI. You can see you're well above the 50 there. You've got support down here in the form of daily support. The green is actually, I believe this is going to be the monthly range. So there's the 50% midpoint on July's range. You can see that level has been holding support since the 18th of July. We did break down below it here, but that ended up being a trap. And we've been basically trading away from the level ever since. And then this is the weekly range. The red fib is going to be last week's range. Last week was a down week. So we're going to see if we can get continuation from that. So right there's the 618, and then the 50% retracements right here. Remember, anytime you're above the 50% retracement of the previous candle that you're analyzing, the risk is to the upside. All right, so this is not situated or structured in a manner where a short trade actually makes sense. So be careful if you are shorting this. Yesterday I had a pretty nice move lower, and I should have taken profits on that move. I didn't, because Fartcoin was literally taking a dump and other things were starting to move a little bit quickly. So I assumed it would get continuation, and that was my fault. I literally should have closed that trade out. It was doing really good at one point. So here is the original entry. Like I said, it was almost a top tick. Not quite, but almost. And then at one point, we were looking like this on the actual position. So it was looking pretty good. It was looking a lot better yesterday than it is looking today. And then there's the short on Fartcoin. So the positioning wasn't really great, right? It was a choppy environment, very difficult to get into the entry. So essentially I just shorted it where it was and it rolled over, and that's what you're looking for in terms of continuation. That is what all trend traders want to see right there. So it worked out to perfection. It has been a very, very choppy trade as of late. Through here, very choppy, no continuation in either direction. Breaking down below that trend line right there and getting some speed to the downside. So clearly this is structured right now more bearish than it is bullish. I mean, that should be obvious just by looking at it. You can see that. The problem is you're right into a support zone. And when you have a big move like that, I typically don't expect the next day to be a big move. So if you want to buy Fartcoin because it's at the July open for a bounce, maybe back up to the high of day, which is going to be right here, I don't actually see anything wrong with that. It's just structured more bearish than bullish. Clearly, people are looking for downside continuation here. They may get it, they may not. Only time will tell. So those are the two positions, hype and W, that I'm in short. I would like to get some kind of long exposure to kind of hedge out that risk, because the watch list is rather mixed this morning in terms of assets that are up and down. So here's the watch list, so it's not like everything isn't pinned red. Your total 1, 2, and 3 are both up today, so that could put upside. That could put a little bit of upside pressure on alts. Bitcoin is currently up 0.65%, but looking structure-wise bearish. And I mean, on longer term, it's still bullish. I don't mean that. I'm talking about day trade. For the day trade, it looks more bearish than bullish. And that's only because yesterday was a trending candle. It's very choppy. It's range bound. Like I said, this structure ultimately long-term is bullish. But just for today, it looks more bearish to me. Yesterday, we took out the previous day's low. Now, we didn't close under it, so it's not a super bearish signal. But we did take out that low, and you did close as a red candle. So today, in context of yesterday, would be a pullback. But here on the near term, it's currently holding support at the 100 EMA. But yesterday's Fibonacci's are right here. So you got the midpoint of yesterday here, the 618 of yesterday there, and the 786 up there. That is the day high that came in at the London session open. Well, an hour and a half after the open, you got the high of day. Then it rolled over. So once again, London session calling a high. Now we got the market open in 4 minutes and jolts at 10. Jobs data. Coffee's hot, hot, hot. Good morning, champ. Says Lifestyle Media. Good morning, my friend. Oh, we're still stuck up there. So sorry. No, we're not. What's going on with that? We're not dropping any frames, so I don't understand what's going on with that. But anyways, moving on. So yeah, we're gonna keep this up here real quick. See what it wants to do. Your dominance is structured like this morning. So weak. If the dominance stays weak, it's not weak. It's actually more structured up, but it's weak right now. This very moment. That could be a little bit more bullish for Fartcoin. I'm going to take a long entry here just because it's right now testing that July open. Just with a small position, just to get a little bit of risk on for right now. It's also testing 4-hour support. It's kind of under 4-hour support, and you got to close under it. This candle just opened. As long as we're trading above the last 4-hour candle's low, we'll see what it does. So I need to. That's too small, but we'll see what it does. It's about the same size position I had on yesterday. With that, because your total 2 and total 3 are both up today. So that means most of your alts are green, right? That's what's putting a little bit of near-term pressure on dominance. We definitely want to see dominance break down below this for alts to stay bullish. Other meme tokens did not have a super big red day yesterday. Bonk did have a nice move lower after it was bullish pretty much all morning. 11:30 it broke down here, and then this is just a larger time frame triangle. We did break down out of that. I ended up moving it because this looked like a trap, but then it came back down and broke down through here. So, any retest of 32.76 or even a little bit higher, I'm willing to short this to see if it wants to get downside continuation. The problem with Bonk is the yearly opening range is right here. So that, in a sense, would be the target. From here to here. I'm not looking for a breakdown of this or anything like that, but we'll see what it does. If alts stay bullish, or if the, dominance stays bullish today, then some of these alts will not roll over. Good morning. Sushi might be getting rejected at the midpoint of the weekly range. Let's go look at it. Sorry. Are you talking about this up week candle here? Yeah, it does look like it's trying to hold support. I agree with you. Oh, rejected. I mean, maybe we'll see. It did act as support here, but we'll see if this acts as resistance. Hype is still trying to push up. We just took out the previous 4-hour candles high, so if it is going to roll over, I would want to see that happen here. My stop is just above that. Love trading these alts. Circle, what's it doing this morning? Not really nothing yet. GLD's getting a little bit of downside today. Still Intel not doing anything. Tesla rolling over here this morning, but coming into an area that could be potential support. The rest of the risk markets are like a little bit down. S&Ps are down a little bit. I don't have my other platform pulled up because this thing was acting laggy, so I closed it. So I can't see what NQ is doing. But I can keep an eye on the VIX. The VIX made a fresh month low. This is the February low. Here, I'll just show you on the monthly. So here's your Feb lows. We did take those out. So the VIX is trending down nicely. But after a fresh monthly low like this, you could see a bit of a bounce. S&P's currently testing Monday's midpoint as support. So Monday's midpoint is literally, here, let me pull up the hourly chart, is right here. So here's your current levels right here. You got Monday's midpoint, Monday's high, Monday's low. So you're trading inside of Monday's range. It's as simple as that. So this is where we would want to see support if we think the market's going to continue to be bullish today. But like I said, the VIX taking out that fresh monthly low, we could see, well, it's not a, it's a fresh monthly low, but it's a fresh 5-month low. All right, fresh 5-month low. Could see a little bit of bounce. And if we do, then this would be bearish, but I hate trying to short things into support. You got the previous week's high just under you and this current week open just under that. So yeah, I mean, it could get down that low, but that's going to be like a buying opportunity. And then this, I don't know why. Oh, I got you. That indicator. Let me turn the indicator off because that's where the midpoint of the weekly expected range is. Right here. That could also act as a bit of support if prices come into it. Let's do it. Good morning, Janet. Good morning, Yusuf. CFX crypto might be rejecting where it is to it's at resistance, a large cup and handle. Thank you for saying that formation. There is a trade here potentially that I was looking at earlier this morning. This is Anglo Ashanti. It's a gold miner, and it typically does real well with gold. If gold does good, this typically does good. Here's a cup and handle also that's kind of forming on this. We kind of have a bearish bias on gold as long as it's breaking down under the larger formation, a triangle formation. So I don't know if I necessarily want to trade this to the upside for that cup and handle, or if I want to remain bearish on gold, then I would be looking to short this, right? So I've essentially made an area of resistance. Well, I haven't made it. Price has made an area of resistance. This doesn't trade very good, right? But I mean, it is what it is. The options do. This doesn't have weeklies, but the options do trade okay. Right now, they're a little bit spready, but that's just because the market just opened. But we'll see what it wants to do here, if it wants to break out. But the resistance on AU is 49.63. You don't want to see 30-minute candles closing above that point. So if we reject here, we could potentially buy a put, looking for a test of 48.50. But it is in the process of breaking out of this trend line, so we have to be careful. We have to always be careful, but it is what it is. All right, so hype is about to get stopped out. It's pushing up into the 618. It's a trade from yesterday. I was looking for it to roll over. It did, but I didn't take profits, so that is a loss. It's going to be a break-even trade, not a loss. And I made enough money on Fartcoin last night to cover that, but anyway. I was hoping it would roll over here. And then Fartcoin is not like getting bullish off of this level here at the open. So Fartcoin might want to go lower. I looked at the liquidation levels on Fartcoin. There's really nothing left down there. I mean, it got a lot. I was looking at the weekly and it went into an area that was essentially bald. Look at all this dark space here. That's your, like, no liquidity. And you pushed deep into that yesterday. So this is the reason why we had such a big move on that candle, because it went into a very thin liquidity environment. So it's trying to build that liquidity up now. You can see it right here in the corner. It's trying to build it up now. So if you were to push down under like 110 or under this low, I would kind of watch that area for a potential bounce. So that's right in here. So if it does push down there today, now don't buy it instantly if it gets down there, because you could see another gigantic candle. So you don't want to buy into it instantly. You want to wait to see what price does when it gets there. Does it continue, right? Or does it just stay pretty much like doing this? If that's the case, then I would look for a bounce, simply because there's nothing really down there for price to get. According to that indicator, we know there's liquidity down there. We know there are people buying and putting in trades down here. We can look at the long-term chart and see there's a low right there. So there is definitely liquidity down there to go get. That's why I'm saying don't just instantly buy it as soon as it gets there. Wait, see how it reacts. You need to be more reactionary when it comes to this trading stuff and less predictory. Like, don't predict that it's going to bounce. React if it does bounce. Yeah, stop trying to low tick wicks, right? That keeps you in trouble when you try that crap. The top tick yesterday for me on hype was simple. It was very easy. It was a 4-hour swing high. Very simple. Very simple. So that was the 4-hour swing high. So I didn't try to top tick it by guessing where it was going to roll over. I simply allowed it to stop and then let it start to push lower, and then I jumped on it, right? I didn't try to anticipate where that high would be. Also knew that was June's high. So you can see that it literally spent 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 minutes. 45 minutes here at the June high. I just knew if price rejected here that I wanted to be short because it's the June high. You can see it made a higher closing 5-minute candle here, so I didn't want to short at that point. But then I can just watch that candle's close to see if any more candles close above it, and they didn't. So my shorts, like in this area, what in the is this music, dude? My music is better. I was just trying to listen to something different, but my music is just better than that. That didn't even sound like music to me. That sounded like people beating on instruments. We need to get the hype train going. Let's get it. What's up? What you gonna do, hype? Let's go. Oh, this is a good area to short it if you want to short it. I don't know that it's going to work. All right, but it is a good area to mitigate your risk buy. If you start closing 5-minute candles above that, then just get out, right? But yeah, if you want to short it, throw your stop up there, and we'll see what this thing does. Looking at the volume signature from the profile, it does look like people want to short it. So that could help it continue to run higher back up to June's high, right? Because this is all this new stuff coming in here right now is going to provide fuel to the upside if it does start breaching these highs. But as long as these highs stay intact from this moment on, it'll be a good short. It's an inside daily range. Your target would be low of day or just in front of the low of day, ahead of it, because we don't know that it'll go all the way to the low. We think it will. We think something's going on. I mean, literally, Fartcoin puked yesterday that it wouldn't do that unless there was a reason for it. So, yeah, I mean, look at that range. And then we had 3 days of nothing, but the 2 days coming into those 3 days were also, that's an engulfing bearish candle there. Bearish engulfings at highs are pretty good indicators that something is changing. Something may be changing here. If you look at the weekly chart on Fartcoin, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks up, 2 weeks down, and you're back bearish on the month. So be vigilant. Don't keep thinking that this thing has to just keep going up because it's alt season. That is not true. Don't fall in love with these things. They're trading assets. That's all they are. They're liquidation churning machines. That's why we love them. Especially Fartcoin, man. Love it. That position was less than $200 and it made almost $7 when it was said and done. Can't complain about that. That damn Fartcoin, yeah, it's one of my favorites. XRP looks like hang on one second. XRP looks like it's gonna take a dump, in my opinion. Let's go look at it. We know it was chilling out, but I mean, it was extremely bullish. It was extremely bullish. So, I mean, you're trading inside last week's range, which is normal. It's Tuesday, right? Nothing big here, nothing major. It's just, it looks like it wants to try to go after last week's low, but yeah, I mean, as long as you're under last week's midpoint, then, and the close, of course. But I mean, it can come in, this thing can find support because you got that bullish weekly's midpoint in that area as well. Or the 618, you're under the mid. So you're right now in an area that could act as support. So it doesn't look great. You know, yesterday wasn't that big of a move. However, this was. That was a large move. So, yeah, I mean, it could be topping here. I don't know that it is, but it could be. July's VWAP also under price. Caught that wick. It caught that wick. But right now, you're testing Sunday as supply. Let's see if we can get that tighter. Well, you got a 4-hour resistance at 317.55. The point of control is mid daily range, so this can go either directions. I mean, the volume profiles, value areas, the way that they're structured currently, it looks like it could go lower. There's a moving average under here. So, I mean, there's just some support here. So, shorting it for me would have to be like there if I was going to short it. I have enough downside trades open right now. I have 2 of them open. So if we get a downside move in this market, then I should be situated okay. Are we seeing a massive build of volume here? I don't know why this is lagging so hard. Internet's good. The platform just struggling. There we go. Not really seeing huge volume come in here. It is bigger than normal, but it's not like what I would want to see to basically say, yeah, it looks like July's open might hold. It's the end of the month, so I mean, I would say Fartcoin will probably be a little bit choppy today because yesterday's range was almost 20%. It was like 14-15%. So I would say it's going to have to chew through a lot of stuff through here. Big volume came in on the profiles down here. Now clearly that's going to be some stops, but you're going to have new buyers also trying to jump on this because retail is always trying to call reversals. Like that's what they do always. Some retail. Not all retail, but they can't stop trying to call a reversal. I mean, it's July's open. It's a good level to look to be a buyer if you think it's going to go up. But, I mean, the market right now is saying, I don't know about that. I don't know if it's going to go up, dude. What's Bitcoin doing? Hang on, I'm sorry. This is disgusting. Let's fix that. So Bitcoin, like I said, the structure looks more like a short, but I mean, it could definitely rip. And the volume, the way it's structured here, looks like people are trying to short it. So this could add fuel to the fire, to the upside. You're an inside day right now on Bitcoin. You're inside yesterday. Yesterday was a trending candle to the downside. So naturally, people will look for continuation today. You got the JOLTS data coming out in 9 minutes. I don't know if it will affect Bitcoin or not. Last month, we got 7.769 milli. This month, they're predicting 7.55 milli. So a big number maybe affects Bitcoin. Tomorrow's when you're going to see the real news. GDP, FOMC, and then PCE, which is inflation data on Thursday, and then non-farm payrolls on Friday. Big week of high event risk. High impact event risk. So this is the midpoint of yesterday's range. So buyers will to buy that. Potentially, if Bitcoin's going to rock and roll to the upside. Look at the last 3 days point of controls down here. This, to me, just the point of control looks more bullish than bearish. And since the VIX is literally at 1480, then my long-term bias on Bitcoin is definitely up. When the VIX is down, risk is up. So this looks bullish. Notice what happened when you got down there today. Boom. Up. So I don't even think I would pay attention to yesterday's data at all. Clearly, if you get under this low, then, I mean, the short is if you want to take it here. Up here. This is where you want to look for the short. But, I mean, if this ends up being the swing low from here on out, this is going to probably go higher. And if this goes higher, that's probably going to put a little bit of pressure on some alts. So your hype is up 2% on the day. It was up 4% on the day up here. Right? W is also strong today, up 4%. It's 3.73% right here. Up here, it's over 5% up on the day. So, I mean, if Bitcoin starts to rip, I would say these probably will rip as well. If you want to short something, try to short an alt that is already weak. If that makes sense to you. We just listened to that song with lyrics. I don't want to listen to that song without lyrics. But anyway, yeah, try to short if you want to short or need to short, or for whatever reason, if you're a sell side only asset manager, then please look to short the weaker of the alts, the ones that are like down on the year, barely up on the month, you know, the things that are showing obvious weakness, even though everything else has been strong. Those are the ones that are the better shorts in a bullish market environment. I think LPT is one of those that are just a little bit weak as you're bearish on the year, though that's going to put sell side pressure on it. And if you look at the month of July here, I mean, we've got literally 4 days left and this month is over and it's hardly moved at all. So a big move could be coming on LPT to the downside or to the upside. I don't know which way, but the fact that everything else has a huge July range, this one doesn't. Now, it could just be that there is no interest in the asset, but the last 2 months, May and June, the volume was way above average. So this dotted line is average. So anytime you're above that is interest. You're just not seeing that interest this month. So why? What happened? Right? I have to ask those questions to try to get an idea of what's going on in the minds of traders. Why is this one not as boombastic as the others, and why this month? So since it's not experiencing heavy sell side activity yet, maybe it does. But you could also argue that's bullish, right? You could also argue that's very bullish because it hasn't broken down. But the last 3 weeks, volume has been below average. So that's sell side and buy side volume, below average. I would rather see a move like this happening on high volume, because that would tell me there's a bigger move coming, like a breakout, if you will. But this might not do anything, but it's weak. So if you must short something, this is one that I would be like, yeah, I have no problem shorting this. Right? Pepe, what's that doing? It's weak yesterday and today. So your meme tokens do appear to be breaking down. Bonk and Penguin. Damn it. I didn't get the move I wanted. I wanted a retest of the bottom edge of that trend line. I didn't get it. Oh well. If you're short bonk, hold it. I think you're good. You know what I mean? Well, obviously don't hold it if you start closing 30 minutes back above the 31.65 area, because that could mean you're going to see a rip. And Penguin also starting to lose favor. Did we see bigger than average volume yesterday on Penguin? No, we did not. But we did see big volume come through the London session. Remember, that was very suspect volumes. Look at this yesterday. Very suspect. But since price has just been bleeding since, I would have to say that's probably a lot of, or a big position unloading or taking profits. What's Bitcoin doing? So this is the area it needs to hold based on the point of control from the previous 2 days. All right. Sushi is rolling over. It was testing resistance for sure. Absolutely it was. So since Bitcoin's kind of showing a bit of weakness, were you able to get in that short? I mean, you did call it. You did tell me it was tagging resistance and rejecting, and you are correct. That is exactly what you want to see if you are shorting. You want to see a rejection, a lower close, and then you want to see one time framing happen on the small time frames. Anything under 30 minutes, you want to see this one time framing effect. That just simply means making lower highs with each candle. It is moving to the downside here, but it doesn't mean it will keep doing that all day. The news is coming out, or should be out, and I didn't see any movement at all. The jobs data is pretty much neutral. It's a miss. They were expecting 7.55. We got 7.43, so it's a little less than expectations. Not really seeing that affect Bitcoin at all. And not really affecting S&P at all. Nothing coming yet from that jobs data. I've been scalping 1 to 2%, which is like $50-$60 at a time that I'm happy with, but I want to catch one of those $700 moves you get. It's just being in the right place at the right time. Lifestyle media has nothing to do with my ability as a trader. It's just being in the right asset at the right time. I literally hated Fartcoin yesterday when we started the live stream. It was very choppy. It was a piece of garbage, I think were my exact words I used. I had no idea clearly that it was going to have a 15% move to the downside. None. I wish I would have been able to forecast that, because then I would have told everybody to short Fartcoin with every cent you have, right? So that way you guys can make some money. But clearly I can't do that. You will. By putting yourself in those positions, you will be able to eventually catch one. Many of them, not just one. You will catch many moves like that. And the USD-JPY trade is not working out. It is still rocking to the upside. And that's based on dollar strength. It is failing to roll over. It probably won't, as long as the dollar is strong. Also, yen is weak. The Japanese yen is weak right now. The reason why this thing isn't just blasting off to the upside is because of the euro, right? The euro was super, super weak. Euro yen was another one that I told you guys to look for the short. If you didn't want to take it in USD JPY, you could look for it in euro yen. I myself do not like shorting assets that are extremely strong, but this one rolled over. So the one I don't short is the one that makes the move, right? So yeah, I mean, I don't catch them all either. But I did put out, if you could watch the same trade idea for shorts on pound yen and euro yen. I don't know why this is doing this. Not dropping any frames at all. So the internet speed should be fine. Well, here, I'll just pull this over here and run this real quick, see what it does. Internet speeds are fine. I'm cooking with like 250 megabytes per second download, 267 and 21 upload speed. So internet is not the issue. It is obviously trading view. But this one also had to move lower. So the one that I shorted didn't do anything, and the other two that I told everybody to watch did. Can't catch them all, right? Can't catch them all. The reason the USD didn't work out is because of dollar strength. Dollar is super strong right now. It's at a very, very long-term trend line, and it's bouncing from that. So the 1 month, or not 1 month, but the 100 exponential moving average on the monthly chart is here. I don't know if that'll cause a pullback or not, right? It is a big moving average, but I mean, I don't know that it will cause a rejection. We'll see what it does. But I mean, if it does pull back, it would be just for a couple days probably. Because you got a legit breakout above this on the DXY. Your larger time frame descending wedge, which is typically people are looking for bullish breakouts from this pattern. You're getting that right now. So the USD JPY short might not be this week. It might be next week. It might not ever happen, right? It's just a trend following trade setup. Going over to Fartcoin as it just took out those lows. What the man? So we're taking those lows out right now. Let's see what it wants to do here. I mean, you're trending to the downside at this point, so I don't want you to just jump in and buy this with a lot of leverage. Just a small position, because it's trending to the downside. You just made a fresh low. You're down 4.7%. Remember, Fartcoin has 10% days. So this thing could go down another 5%. Our watch list is starting to come around, though, for the downside. Pop you up here just to let you take a brief look at the P&L. We got positive $220 on that for now. And on the hype trade, 288. But we'll continue to watch Fartcoin here to see if it fails to make new lows. And if it does, we can be long and hold longs as long as price stays above 110.51. And that's based on the fact that there's just not much liquidity down here. The liquidity is much lower, so you could see a huge repricing move lower to go after that liquidity. But what's probable here is that it bounces and is choppy for the rest of the day. All right. That's how I would expect this thing to act today, because that was a gigantic move yesterday. Fabulous move yesterday. Yeah, that's where we ended up shorting it, up here. Huge move. That's a 20% wick. So, big move. This is why I love trading this thing. Absolutely love it. Huge moves. Looks like it's wanting downside continuation. I'm not in this short anymore, so I had to close the whole position simply because it was such a small position. I was actually wanting to reload on it, but higher. And ultimately, I did get the move higher, but this was through the time where I was asleep. But this is the 3:30 candle right there. Here's your 2 a.m. So this is your London session open right here. London opens, and for 2 hours it trades up. Then it makes one more high of day and ends up closing bearish. So from that point, you could have simply drew your line here to mark that resistance. And then you could have simply shorted at that line. High of day, stop loss, because it's a 4 a.m. candle. If it is going to be the high of day, it needs to start rolling over now, right? And it did. And it did. So there's a London session fade trade that ended up working again today. They do work quite often. They work often enough to build a strategy. Just fading the London session. You could back test that data though and see how often it's worked this year, and make that asset specific as well. So we've gotten our move on Bonk down to the yearly opening range. If you shorted Bonk, this is where I would take profits, because that's a yearly opening range. It could just blast through, but it is a big level. It's a huge level, and we'll see what happens here. When it broke out here, it ended up getting like a 25% move. Here's your day open, right? Tuesday, you opened right there. There's the breakout. This thing ended up running all day. Ended up being up like 30% more. So it's a big level. Wait, that's not one day. It was a big move, right? Big move. So it could act as support. Just make sure. I mean, that's a pretty good move right there. That's a 6% gain. If you shorted there, take profits. Looking good. We're looking good. Getting downside continuation here. Hype looking good. Rejecting that 618. Beautiful. That's what we want to see. This is what we want to see when we are short, simply because downside moves are usually more aggressive than upside moves. Not always, but most of the time. And W is the other one I am short. Where did it go? Where did it go? Right there it is. It's getting a nice move here. Bitcoin is testing or close to testing the open of the day. So it looks like even though the point of controls for the last 2 days look like they're buying it, getting a kind of a deeper move than I would want to see. But these 2 points of control could be bullish, right? It could be a lot of buying going on in that, and today could close up. VIX is still pretty close to the low of day, and your S&P 500 is kind of trying to get support. Trying to find support here. Now, this actually looks more like a short than a buy, but I mean, you're at fresh all-time highs. Fresh all-time highs. Everybody is shorting every day like this, so this looks like it could go. Look at these 2 points of control. Price is currently trading above both of these. So this thing could rock and roll today. You could see 64.20 easily today. I don't know that you will. I'm just saying be careful on the short. I don't like shorting all-time highs. At least with the crypto assets, we already had a couple reasons for the shorts. We were watching the breakdown on Bonk. We got it yesterday, so that's one reason why we were looking for downside continuation today. Fartcoin broke down last week, Wednesday and Thursday. We were wanting to see if it could break out and go up yesterday, and it ended up failing. So we decided to switch positions and look for the short instead. But, I mean, huge move on that. Loving that. So this is going to be the downside target on hype. It could find support here. As of right now, it's not an engulfing candle. It's still a trending candle to the upside. But I mean, it looks like it wants to be a bearish engulfing. There's still 1 hour, 44 minutes left on this close. I would love for this thing to close down in here. Because if that happens, I will hold it. Because it could be a larger downside move coming. There is a trend here. It's a new trend line that I just made because the old trend line broke. It was a failed breakdown. And then it ripped to the upside after that failed breakdown right here. Boom. So we're looking to see if it does something similar. I mean, this structure looks like an inverted head and shoulders here to me. So this is still very, very much bullishly structured. But it looks good for the short. Right now, you're also testing the 50 on the 4 hour. So that means the day is going to be above it. Just above it. It does look like it's trying to lose bullish momentum. Big volume yesterday on the rejection. So I kind of dig that. Doesn't mean we'll see downside continuation, but I do kind of dig that. And here's our intra-week volume weighted average price. We do not have our intraday. So where is that? A little bit of wiggle here is natural. I would love to see it fail right in this area here. Around 44.61 or 44.75. That's where I'd want to see it fail for the down continuation day. You still got Hype, Jasmine, and W. All three of those alts are still up on the day. So it's not over yet. Not over yet. Let me make sure I didn't forget anything. Can you look at Barrick Mining? I don't know the ticker. Is it just B? I don't understand why this thing is struggling today. Yeah, it is. Just a B. Is this a gold miner? It looks really good. This is a long-term consolidation here, a multi-year consolidation. And you're breaking out of that formation. And these types of patterns do have measured moves on them. It's just like double the block. So you would have a price upside target of like max upside target of like $27, but it looks like it's losing bullish momentum after the breakout. It never really got it. I mean, it's above the 50, but it doesn't have that. You see how it had real nice bullish momentum off of the 50 test? Real good, strong 2-day move there. Boom, boom. And then it lost it. And that's the breakout, right? That's a breakout right there. It's breaking out above the consolidation. It's breaking out of the larger consolidation. So it looks really good, and it looks like I would want to be long or holding long shares this. The problem is it's not experiencing the breakout. Now, if this is more of a, like if they make their money from gold and gold asset prices, well, then of course they're going to experience a pullback whenever gold does. But this could be a coal mining company for all I know. It could be mining Tesla batteries. I don't know what it's mining. But the structure looks okay. I would probably say if it loses 2050, then there might be a larger correction coming. Right? So as long as you're above 2050, I kind of like it because it could be just consolidating higher prices, which is always good. But if you lose that, then you won't be any longer. So you might want to think about what the next move would be, right? At that point. A significant negative surprise in the JOLTS job openings data with a reading below 7 million. Wait, that's not what I saw. They got a 7.4 milli. 7.4 mil is what I see. Maybe this is wrong. It is a beat. It's a miss though. Last month was 7.7 and they were forecasting 7.5. So coming in at 7.4 is a miss. But it's not a huge miss. Now maybe that data is wrong. Hype is red on the day. Look at that. Yeah, baby. Give it to me. Give it to us. That's what I'm talking about. Boom. Biatch. Let us have it. The W short is still kind of not doing anything. I mean, it is. It's up. It's up nicely. Don't get me wrong. Very nicely. But that move right there on hype was a big move. I like it. It went from being up on the day to down on the day in 10 minutes. I like it. Let me get some downside continuation. I want to see hype close the day out down 8% today. That would be fantastic. So making money. Doing what we usually do. Making money. You entered at the 0.5 resistance. 0.5, then that's that's Yusuf talking about the sushi swap short. And he entered, or they entered at what? 0.5. Oh, right here. So the short is 0 spot 893. The price that they shorted. Looking good. Looking good. Looking real good. I like that positioning. It looks okay for downside trend continuation. I don't know that you will get that, because there are a couple swing lows down here at the 618, at the 8 spot, or the 0 spot 844 price. So it might have a little bit of, it might struggle to break down through here. We'll see if it does or not. If it does, I don't see why you couldn't get down to 77 cents by Friday. You know what I mean? But it's got a lot of work to do. It's got to break down through this stuff. So good trade. I love the positioning. Absolutely love it. That's what I want to, that's all I'm trying to teach you guys. To be more patient on your entries. Look for those higher probable setups. You had the moving average on the 30-minute with you. You had everything on your side. You were under the previous week's midpoint, which is good. That means you're showing weakness comparatively to the previous week. Lovely. Everything about it. Love it. Great setup. Great trade idea. Even if it reverses in your face and stops you out, it is still a good trade. All right. When you start making money, it's up to you to manage that money. Right? Don't let it come back and stop you out. Make sure you take profits. But that is a good setup. I would take that setup all the time. You don't have a bearish setup yet on the daily, but we know that the near-term time frames will be, more bearish than the daily. It takes more time for the daily to show bearish setups, but at the same time, it's a pullback, right? So it's not a super bearish trade yet, but it may keep working for you. So you're positioned ahead of the crowd, or at least ahead of the people that watch the 21 on the daily, as that might act as a little bit of near-term support, right? So it's a good setup, but for a scalp, only time will tell if it ends up giving you any continuation. See, that's the one thing we can't predict. We can't predict what price will do, but it's a good setup. It's a good position. Just manage it. Make sure you manage it. Yusuf making that money says, Lifestyle Media, that's what we're here to do. It's going to happen someday soon enough. Here every day with you to do it. I'm looking for a specific setup to long Bitcoin at the previous weekly mid, which is near Monday low, if it gets there at all. What is your opinion? I still think Bitcoin has bullish structuring. It does. I mean, you're still bullish on the day, right? It's pulling back on the intraday time frame for now, but it's still very much bullish. It's still up on the day. You're down on the week, and that's what's causing a little bit of near-term volatility, because people see it's down on the week, so they're either selling it to take profits, they're shorting it for a fresh low week test, or a fresh low week test, whatever reason, whatever drives other traders' decision-making process. As far as looking, let me see here, your exact comment, because this is important. This is a great opportunity to learn. So King Money says that they're looking for a specific setup to long Bitcoin at the previous week's midpoint. Okay, which is a good spot to watch, right? So here's the previous week, and we have that midpoint out there. So this is where they want to get long on Bitcoin. What is my opinion? My opinion is it's a good spot to watch, but you're not in a trending environment with Bitcoin. So the setup that you are trying to take is a trending setup. It's a setup that we want to take when we have trending market conditions. For the last 3 weeks, Bitcoin has not been trending. So this specific setup has failed, right? Has failed. Now, we'll see if you get upside continuation from here. So yes, I like it. I would definitely keep my eyes on that level for sure. That exact price is 17,525. That's down here. So you can take long setups here as long as price is failing to go lower than that. You're in a choppy environment for right now, so it could be a difficult trade because price can chop through that level for days. And if that happens, you're going to get chopped up trying to take the entry every time it gets back above it, right? I get it. So I can't tell you if the setup will work, but the idea is it's a solid trade setup in a trending environment. We just don't have that with Bitcoin right now for whatever reason, but we may get it. This week is a very, very, very important week because of high impact news that's coming out this week. So, yep, if you get down there, I keep an eye on it. Don't be quick to be hitting the buy button. Just pay attention to price while it's down there. If it appears to be building support at that area on the smaller time frames, then by all means buy it and place a stop loss with a 1 to 2% loss. Absolutely. Because you might get the trend. It might hit that and then bounce. And then maybe the trend begins. I gotta say, I don't like what's happening to alts, or some of the alts right now. Like I said, some of them are not. Some of them look really good and some of them do not, right? And for a good, strong alt season, I want to basically see that mania where every alt is just absolutely ripping. We had that weeks ago. It's not what we have going on now, this week. Bartcoin gave back all of July's range. All of it. Not just some of it. All of it. You're currently trading under July's open. That makes you bearish on the month. So here's that level that we were watching for potential longs. So it did get above it. So now you do not want to see a 5-minute close under 1.10. The 110 exactly. If it holds, then we'll see what it does. There's not much more liquidity down here to go get. It's much lower. So price might want to do this for a while until it builds up that liquidity that is lacking down here. Because you just made a big run down also. So that means there's not much liquidity to the upside either. Do you see what I'm saying? So once you breached this area of no liquidity, you also took out all the liquidity on this side. So now price can be real choppy like this for days as it builds in that liquidity. So, I mean, it's going to be a lot more of a difficult trade, right? As it builds in that liquidity. This is what I would expect out of Fartcoin moving on because of this move. Because it was so big. Now, that doesn't mean that will happen. I can't say that enough, but that's how I would trade it for now. That's how I would trade it. I would expect it to not be getting huge moves up. And there's two different ways you can trade that. You can scalp it, look for your buy entries at the objective price point. So you would be literally getting long pretty much right now. And then exiting if you push deeper than that close. Taking very small hits, losing 10, 15, 20 bucks. Boom, because you will nail one. You will end up buying it and it will end up going up at some point, or you will sell it on the high end of the range and it will give you those down thrusts. So I would scalp it like a reversion to the mean strategy while it's range bound. If you continuously close 5-minute candles under 110 today, you're trending. So you don't want to apply that strategy all day. Do you get what I'm saying? So don't try to buy every swing low if it continues to make fresh lows all day, because that's trending. You're only looking to buy the lows if it sets into a range, which I think it will based on what it did yesterday. Okay? So I got Fartcoin pulled up here. I'm going to take a very small long position on it to trade it as a range bound scalp only. Upside, you would be closing the full position, right? You're not looking for continuation because you know that it's probably going to be range bound. So you're just looking to get in, and then when it moves up a couple percent, you exit and then wait for a new signal. Whether it's a short or a long, it doesn't matter, because you're looking for this oscillator to literally go back up into this point. And since it's been such a pretty big move to the downside, you could get a 2% move in 15 or 20 minutes. Then you would exit the position and then wait for the oscillator to get cool, up in this area. And that's when you would be looking wherever price is at that point for the short, back down 2%, and you would exit. Now on the shorts, since the trend is going lower at this point, you could enter with a larger position with less leverage, and you could short the swing highs in anticipation of a later trend, because your trend is down for now. But I would think that would be more like tomorrow than it is today. Like, I wouldn't expect a huge downside move today, but it could happen. I'm not saying it won't happen. I'm just saying I wouldn't expect that. It's going to need time to build up some liquidity so that way it can then go. What do we got going on W? W's, I might just close the W position. I want to see if it looks good. It looks like it's going to go lower, so I'm going to hold it for a minute longer. Hype looks really good as long as it can stay under the intraday VWAP. This one has the big position, so I could take profits on hype. But I was actually looking for a larger breakdown. Looking for this longer term trend here to take back over. So this is a really good looking 4-hour candle. I think you could potentially see a one time framing happen on the 4-hour So if you could just get 3 or 4 4-hour candles closing down like that, one time framing like this, boom, 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 then you would get a nice trade out of it. Because you do have sort of a bear flag here. Sort of. It's not like perfect or anything, but I guess we could tighten it up. Get out of here. I guess we could tighten it up, right? So this is where it's going to struggle here. So a breakdown from this could give us that one time framing down to July's open if it holds. And then as far as profits go, this is what we're working with right now, 649. We got 286 up here, and then here's the fart coin long. Notice how much I'm losing here, 18 bucks, right? We're back under that swing low, aren't we? Yeah, okay, well then just close it. It's a $20 loss. Who gives a shit? What you're trying to do is limit your downside trades. You're trying to limit what you lose. So that way when you're right on the trade, you book, a couple $100. That's going to smoke multiple losses, right? So that's what I'm talking about. That's what you guys need to learn how to do. I had a really good week last week. And so far this week, thanks to Fartcoin's breakdown yesterday, this week ain't so bad neither. Now yesterday, while we were doing the live stream, I wasn't having a great day. I ended up gumming into the live stream being up, like $200 and something. And then I ate a $90 loss on Fartcoin because I wasn't paying attention. So that took away $90 from that 250. Profitable day. Wasn't looking so good at that point. But then later on, as time moved on throughout the day, the positioning was good. So it ended up being a really good day. Ended up closing up like $700 and something yesterday. Now we're coming into today. We're looking pretty good, right? We just took a $20 loss on Fartcoin, but we got $850 of unrealized gains. The W position is kind of like too small. So like if I cut it down, make it smaller, then it's not really going to be a good trade, even if it does cut loose. And the hype trade is a bigger position, like 2 times bigger than I usually would take. So I could cut that in half and we'd be up a couple $100 on the day. See what I'm saying? So that way I can set the stop to break even. And then if I get my one time framing move, it'll make decent money because it still has a normal size position on it. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and situate the P&L for the day. Let's go ahead and make today a winning day, $300, not life-changing. I get it. But the goal isn't to get rich today. The goal is to make small wins day in and day out, if possible. And then over time, that adds up. And it gets bigger as your account grows. Your winners and losers will start to get bigger because your account is getting bigger. And you can basically size up. I'm comfortable with risking a couple $100 on these things with 20x leverage. That way I can open multiple positions. I just have to make sure when I'm up, I take my money. I don't be greedy. Being greedy, it'll kill you. You don't want to close the trade because it's up nicely and you want to make a lot more money. So you leave it open and then it works out good for the day. But then the next day it rips back in your face and closes you out. Not only were you up nicely the previous day and you could have been a profitable trader that day, now you're eating a loss and you never booked those gains. So not only did your account not grow, it actually lost, even though you were right on direction the first day. It's retail's biggest flaw, trying to get rich. You could get so rich if you would just simply pay yourself each time you're up, take profits, move stops, move on. And then over time, your account will start to grow. And then it's an amazing thing. I'm going to do that on Hype. I will protect the W trade. It will not be a loser. But I want to go ahead and book profits while I have them before something crazy happens, like a big bullish candle. We're going to take profits. We're going to close it on a partial. Oh, let me put you up there. I'm going to close it on a partial. It's ripping right now. So that money is no longer as pretty. See how fast that happens? Literally just that fast. Go from being up $600 to being up 500. So we want to take profit and we want to close it by half. So we're going to partial position 50% of the trade. And we're up 79%. So we're going to set the partial at 85% and hit confirm. Okay, this is on Hype. I want take profit 50% on an 85%. Thank you. So we get a slight push down. We'll book gains. Any gains. $5 is good gains, guys. Free money. It's about making money. Not a specific amount of money. Just money. Just green. That was too far. So I don't know what happened on the small time frame chart, but clearly it's okay. So there we go. We've booked $200 on the day. So now we can set our stop loss to break even the entire position, and we want a 0% loss. So no matter what happens to Hype in the future, we cannot lose money. We've already made $213. But we can just leave this alone for the rest of our lives if we want to, or until we get stopped out. So 2 profitable days back to back. Love it. And that's what we continue to try to do every single day. It don't always work out that way. Some days there will be no profits. Some days there will only be losses. But as long as they're not big losses, right, then you'll be fine. I can take 4 back-to-back $20 losses and I will still be up on the day. 4 of them. So here's Sparkcoin. It did test the level that we like. It did get a bounce, but then it came right back. So do we want to buy this even when it clearly looks bearish? I don't know. It doesn't look like it's trying to bounce, but it could at any minute. This is a higher 5-minute close than this 5-minute close, right? So, yeah, let's see. We got 2 minutes left on this candle. As long as it closes above this candle, it's good. But if it closes under this candle, it won't look so good anymore. It'll look like the next candle is probably going to close under. So let's give it a minute here, see what it wants to do. If we miss the trade, it's okay. There's always an opportunity. We do not have to cry about spilt milk. It's okay if we miss it. It isn't going to hurt us if we miss it. What will hurt us is rushing into something when it's the wrong thing to be rushing into. It's clearly weak. We're clearly trending for now, and it's consolidating these losses at the level. So who knows what it's going to do? The structure looks weak, but it is a higher low. Just get Fartcoin ready over here, up on the broker. Set to market, and the position size ready to go. We're ready to go here. Oh. We're ready to go up top. So if this starts to play out the way we like it, this candle's close will be the 5-minute close. But this candle is the most important. We need this candle to close back up here, not down here. Because if it closes down here, then it's threatening to go lower. It doesn't mean it will go lower. It's just threatening that. It could literally close down here and then the very next minute close up here. We're not trying to anticipate that. We're setting rules to keep us safe. Losing $0 is better than losing $20. And not catching a long is totally okay. We've already made money on the day. So really and truly, we don't have to do anything today. Anything more. We are done trading. We are done. We're positioned nicely. We have 2 trades open still for any downside continuation that we get. The market's bearish. Bitcoin's back to 0% on the day. 0. It's actually red on the day. 0.02% down. Notice this structure. So imagine the people that bought every low, right? They've already eaten 5 or 6 losses, and they finally caught this low. They've been sitting in the trade since 10:08. It is now 10:50, and price is right back at their entry or under their entry. So now it looks like they're about to take another loss. This structure is not bullish. This is bearish. It's consolidating the lows. That's not bullish. When you're looking to buy bearish pullback or bullish pullbacks, you want to see V shapes. Right? You want to see this kind of stuff. When the bulls have control, they don't just slowly they don't do this. This isn't what happens once the bulls have control. You get big candles one after another. You almost miss the entry, right? You've seen it a million times. You know. It's just your mind telling you to hold the long because you think it's going to go up. Because you think you can predict what the market's going to do. Therefore, you set in these losses. You've already lost so much money. You don't want to lose any more. So you're going to set in this position because you know it's going to reverse as soon as you close the position, right? Yeah, those days are done. You're not going to do that anymore. You're going to do this. You're going to become better. Going to make money. You're going to stop losing money. There's no point for us to buy Fartcoin right now. None. sure it could reverse, but it don't look like it wants to. It looks like it wants to continue lower. This is a midpoint check almost on an hourly close. You got 7 minutes left on this hour. If it gets a little bit lower and closes down in here, that midpoint's going to be that level. That looks like downside continuation, not an upside reversal. Very weak. I literally thought it would be choppy today because of that move yesterday. I guess not. I mean, damn. People are getting out of the fart. They don't like it anymore. What happened to the fart? Nobody likes the fart anymore. I'm just kidding. They're shorting it because it's going down. It's beautiful. It's a great asset to trade. I love it. Great way to make money while Bitcoin isn't doing anything. Also, the fees on this are super cheap. Like, you can market order in on a decent sized position with Fartcoin and only pay like $11. Same size position on Bitcoin will cost you $25. Like, the fees are just cheaper. Long-term hold and short-term is weak because of weak gold. Yeah, I got that. Gold and other miners, got you. I did exit the sushi at the latest low. Fantastic stuff. You made money today. Love it. Love it. Yeah, looks good. Making fresh daily lows? Not yet. This is your low of day. Everything is red now on the watch list. So we had a mixed day coming into the session open. It's pretty much even the totals, the total 3 and the total 2 charts are back down from being up close to 1% on the day. They're now down. So this looks good. This is what you want to see when you're bearish or shorting assets. Fantastic. Good stuff, man. Today's easy. It's already done. We're good to go. Dominance picking up here, looking like it wants to make higher highs on the day. So we had an old area of support here, ended up being resistance here. We broke out here, broke down there, and then back up over here. Fake out move. That's all that was. Little fakester. Trying to draw emotions out of us. What are you thinking? We trade like robots, man. We're not emotional. No, I get emotional. I still get emotional. I try to hold it back, but it's impossible. I get so pissed off sometimes I gotta quit. You bastard! That's the 3rd time you start me out! Used to be a lot worse though, back in the beginning. So this is a spot right here for W to find support. This is the July VWAP. So I'm not exactly sure what W is. Let's ask Grok. I have no clue. Wrapped Tether is a cryptocurrency token designed to bridge the gap between different blockchain networks, primary Ethereum and Tezos, though it may also exist on other blockchains like Binance Smart Chain. It's a tokenized version of Tether, a stable coin pegged to the value of the US dollar, allowing USDT to be used on blockchains where it doesn't natively exist. Enables seamless transfer of USDT across blockchains using decentralized protocols. So it actually has a use purpose. It is not just a meme token, right? The bonks, the penguins, the fart coins, the doges, the sushis. Or I don't know about sushi. Sushi's not. Sorry, sushi is it's Sushi Swap is an exchange, I think. So that's not. I meant to say Shibu Inu, not sushi. Those are your meme tokens. Trump token, Melania token, memes. They have zero use case. Those are the ones that can get moving to the downside simply because they don't have a use case. Hype has a use case, so people will buy it. I mean, it's $45 per coin. That tells you right there that it has a use case. When you look at Bonk, it's 0.0003048. Like 3/100,000th of a penny. Like, Weeks don't even let you buy these one at a time anymore. They've booked them into 1,000 coin contracts. So for me to even trade Bonk, I have to trade 1,000 Bonk because it's so useless and garbage. They've literally made it to the point to where to buy this thing, I have to buy 1,000. 1,000 of them. Useless. Garbage. Zero worth. Those are the ones to short. I think Bonk will have a huge move to the downside once the ETF is not approved. Also, like if the SEC breaks the news and says, I'm sorry, Bonk is too cheap and it's useless, we're not going to give you an ETF for it, all of those gains got given right back, or get given right back. All of them. But that news hasn't broke yet, so it's just been trading sideways in a larger range. This is the first, like today's the first day that you're getting downside continuation. We were going to short it. I was looking for a 4-hour test of resistance first. When we started the stream, we were looking for it to push up to here. We didn't get that, so we missed out on a fantastic trade. My bad. That's 6% down. Damn it. Penguin, also, I missed. That's down. So I don't catch them all. You know what I mean? It's impossible to catch them all. So it's okay when we miss them. We don't have to worry about that. We're doing great. We're doing fabulous. Just making money in magic internet money land. Love it. Good morning. Your thoughts on Ace, Archer, and Maker. Let's go look at them. I don't want the premium index. I want the futures. Okay, so ACHR is not a crypto. No. Oh, Archer. Oh my gosh. It's the drone company. I don't know why I was thinking that's a crypto. Yeah, it's pulling back hard. This is a long-term watch, and they have contracts through, I don't remember who. I don't know if it's Boeing or it's one of the bigger companies that do defense contracts for the US. So longer term, I think it's a good investment, but they don't make money yet. So it's kind of early still. When they start making money, I think the value will explode. It's still pulling back. It's in a larger time frame consolidation here. right? You're trading inside of June, and June is trading inside of May. So you're an inside May candle. You did take out June's high, but you were unable to sustain bullish momentum above June's high. So that usually is it's okay if it pulls back like a day or two, but then we want to see it get back above it, right? It's okay if you pull back and then you trade on it for a couple days after the breakout, but then you want to see it find support and then start to go back above. Because when you fall back inside the previous month's range, it means that there's something larger going on. Something larger is going on here. You aren't even bullish on the month anymore. You're no longer even up on the month anymore. So we discussed how late month buys aren't the best trading plans sometimes. And I still stand by that. Like it's late July, so I don't really care about owning it for the month of July. Now we're going to be watching it for the month of August. But here's the thing. If we take out the July low, do we even want to buy it at that point? Or do we want to give it more time to see if it's looking for the June low? Which is there. You know what I'm saying? So it's still a larger time frame consolidation. I mean, you could draw a rectangle pattern there. There's your range, right? Until you break out to the downside or break out to the upside, there's no resolution here. It's just range bound. So when an asset is just range bound like this, you need to trade it with a different strategy. It's no longer a trending asset. So when it stops trending, which it did on this day, then you have to go into range bound mode. You have to start trading it like it's in a range, because it is. So, I mean, I like it long term, especially if they can start making money, if they can get more defense contracts. This is a drone company. They make drones. And we know that the future for warfare is drones, right? So it would be good to do a little research on Archer to see exactly what kind of drones they make. What kind of people do they have on their innovation side of the company? Like, do they have research and development? How much money are they putting into research and development? These types of things to see about where you want to own it and for how long you want to own it for. Just trading it with the patterns that we have on the chart right now, I would say, as long as it's below the July open, I would leave it alone, because it could be looking to take out the low, right? But I can't short it this far down either, because it's at the pretty close to the bottom of the range. So maybe wait for it to do a liquidation break. So wait, maybe, I don't know that it will, but if it does, wait for it to liquidate June's low and then get back into June's range. If it were to do something like that, then you could buy a few shares in anticipation of it running back up to the midpoint of the range. So you would buy it at like 920. You would have a profit target of like 1115, right? That's a range bound strategy. If it's a buy and hold, like if you think it's going to make a lot more money in the future because drones, future warfare is going to be drones, then just buy it and hold it. Make sure you set a stop. how much you're investing, how much can you afford to lose with that investment. All those things are going to come into effect. I'm going to invest the $11,000 that I only want to lose $2,000 if I'm wrong on the investment. So then you would put a stop in to make sure you don't lose more than $2,000 or whatever. I don't know what you're looking for. You just said Archer. There's a million strategies to deploy on this. Let's see what analysts are doing. Let's see what analysts say. So analysts, 9 analysts are giving the stock ratings as a buy. You've got 5 saying it's a strong buy, 2 saying it's just a buy, and then 2 saying it's just a hold. No sellers and no strong sellers. That's as far as it goes with analysts. Max profit target 74%. That's a 1-year forecast. But there's also a huge loss. 450 is also within the expectations. That's the outer edge of expectations. Your average on the downside would be closer to $8. So if it does pull back, which it is, then maybe it pulls back to $8. I don't know that it would. But $8, in my opinion, would be a pretty good buy. But you have earnings coming up too. So that's dangerous. Because if their earnings are terrible, you could get back down to 4. Some of these other drone companies are also experiencing a little bit of, so here's Joby. They're pulling back a little bit, but clearly Joby was the best one. Right? But I never bought this one. I bought the Dragonfly, and it got up to 8. I ended up closing it out when it had a huge gap down, because I bought it at 225. So I made good money there on that. But this is a low float drone company. So they have a low float. They have less than 10 million shares on the float. So retail momentum traders trade this also. It's not just investors. But 477, that's about halfway, right? That's about half. So we'll see if it wants to find support in this area on Dragonfly. I'm not going to buy it now. It's got earnings coming up, but we'll see if it can build a support in here. Because at $4, I mean, at $4.50, you could lose half your money if it drops back down to $2.25, and we know it can. It was there not too long ago, right? So this is a volatile asset, very volatile. Archer, not so much. It's a lot bigger. It has a lot more shares in the float. But ultimately, long term, I think the better drone companies are going to outperform. It's a very young market. Drones are very new. I mean, they've been on the market for what, 15 years, but that's it. Like, it's new. Wait till drones have been on the market for 30, 40 years. What's this thing going to be? What's Archer going to be once it's been in the market for 30 years? What do you think it's going to do? Well, that's impossible to know, right? They could get bought out. They could fail. It's a risk. Anytime you're risking, anytime you put in money up for an investment, it is a risk. The investment could go to zero. Just manage your risk. I think long term it'll do good. I ain't interested in it till it gets closer to the bottom of that range, though. I want to see it get lower, and then I'll be interested in it. And then finally, the last one is UMAC. Those are the four that I have on watch: Archer, Joby, Dragonfly, and UMAC. Unusual Machines. It's doing the same thing that Archer and Dragonfly are doing right now. Pulling back. Joby's pulled back too, but it's sustained the gains. But I would be very hesitant about buying this thing at $16. This also has a light float, I think. Let's see. Oh, no, they do not. 789 million shares. Okay. So they don't have a light float. But still, I mean, buying it way up there, I don't know. Let's see what the analysts say about this. Ooh, yeah. That doesn't look great. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no upside. Even though 3 analysts are saying it's a buy, strong buy, there's literally no upside that's being projected. They're saying it's a strong buy, so that way they can generate exit liquidity more than likely. I don't like that. That's disgusting. Yeah, this is a wait for sure. This is a wait. It looks like alts have chilled out a little bit. So we're going into that chop period where we're just kind of not doing anything. Not making fresh lows, not making fresh anything, just chopping. Fartcoin made a new low of day and it's still chopping. Fartcoin looks like it wants to go lower. Hype failing to break down here. Failing to break down here. I think hype might be, if hype fails to trade much time above 44.18, might be another short entry. You know what I'm saying? But this 2-hour candle closes in 45 minutes, so we'll see. Hourly looks good for now, for a downside continuation. It's right into the bottom of this channel though, so that's what's holding it up right now. Plus this has value, it has a use case, and they are growing. So even though alts are suffering right now, this thing does have a potential upside of $66 based on the macro fundamentals of the company. So that's why it's struggling to break down. But the hourly structure looks good. It didn't break down and close below support, but as far as downside continuation, it looks good. Give me 1 second. Sorry. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. But yeah, it looks like it's, as long as it stays under that intraday VWAP, or at the most, the weekly VWAP. This might be a short entry, like midday type of entry. I wouldn't love a close up there though. I would not love a close above the midpoint of that, but it's an hourly candle, so they don't work as good as like dailies and stuff when you're talking about midpoints. So like if it closed up in here on an hourly closing basis, I would not want to jump on that short, but a wick up into there and then it fails, that might be another opportunity. But it's right into support. It could put in a few hours down here before it either breaks back to the upside or ultimately breaks down. But judging by some of these useless alts, I would say it'll probably do whatever Bitcoin does. It'll do more than likely whatever Bitcoin does. If Bitcoin breaks down today, then we could see hype breakdown as well. But W is still up on the day. However, it does look okay for downside continuation. But W is literally the only alt that's up on the day. That's on my watch list. I don't know, there could be some alts that are absolutely screaming to the upside. I doubt it, but there could be. Like your total 2 chart is down and total 3 is down. So your total 3 looks almost like W, don't it? Like very similar charts. I can't believe I missed that on Bonk, dude. Damn it. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. We'll catch it. We'll catch it later. And Penguin's still in the larger time frame range here. This is last week's. We don't care about last week. Where's Monday? Fun Day Monday, yeah. I love Mondays. I know most people don't like Mondays, but I love them. And today's Tuesday, so we got to get the intraday up. I mean, we don't really need the intraday now on this, because clearly that suspect volume that we saw yesterday during the London session was a sell. Clearly. All right, that's where we seen all that huge volume. And then the volume dried up through London or through New York. Then you had a couple wicks that traded up into that huge volume area and rejected. So I would assume big position getting closed. Huge volume. Very suspect. And it dried up like crazy through New York. Yeah. It never even made a higher hourly close than this one right here. So that was literally the highest it could close an hour. I should have shorted it there. Okay, so Book of Meme, I don't know that you're going to bounce, but we'll look at this the same way. If it does, just because it hasn't broken down yet, as long as it fails to close hourlies higher than 2030, I might take a fresh short on that, maybe, like later today or tomorrow. XRP has a lot more volume, so these kind of traps happen quite frequently. What is this? I can't remember what I drew that. Oh, it's this old support zone. So you did get a close above it, but that would have been a beautiful place to short this morning. Just missed it is all. Just missed it. Man, what a trade that would have been. Let's look at Tesla, because I did say that it was a long as it held support. It did not hold support. So yeah, it broke. It's broken support. So moving forward for the rest of the day, people are going to look to sell Tesla 322.36 if it fails to close 30-minute candles higher. That will be a place for shorts. It's also an old resistance from pre-market data. Tesla is in a longer-term chop city range here. This is actually a support test. This is still a potential long. What's risk markets doing? Risk markets ripped right through that support. Is the Japanese yen bouncing today? No. Barely moving up. Barely moving up. Swiss franc getting the pullback. It's been ripping all year long, so we were expecting a pullback. It is getting a pullback. Dollar's still strong today. That's why you're seeing euro weak. Pound is weak. Everything is weak because of the dollar. The only thing that's not weak is USD JPY. Yet. Big news tomorrow. The rest of the week's going to be exciting. Can't wait, man. I can't wait. Gonna be exciting. We're opening the week up strong. We finished last week up strong. I love coming out swinging, man. Be coming out the week swinging, bro. Made a couple $100 today, but we got almost a little over 500 of them realized. Doing good. Everything looks good for a continuation, at least to the downside. Bitcoin dominance looking like it wants to stay up on the day, but at any point that can fail. Let's see, where is our VIX? Our VIX is up to 1528 and pushing. So remember what I said at the very beginning of the session, before the New York session even rung the bell. I said, be careful on risk markets today, as you just made a fresh 5-month low on the VIX. You could see it bounce today. It's bouncing. It's bouncing. It doesn't, I'm not expecting it to rip, just to bounce. Like, just to bounce. Just to bounce. But it's in the right place for continuation up to the upside, right? It still looks good. So moving on with the VIX, I wouldn't expect much upside This is not a trending asset. It is an oscillating asset, so it bangs back and forth, back and forth. But as long as we're under that, I like risk markets higher. You know what I'm saying? So it looks really good. Just because we're seeing a pullback today means nothing on the SPs. All right. It means nothing, but this morning we looked at it when we were up here. If you remember me saying this looks like a short, it literally was. Look at that, 6,400. I also said now it could rip, right? If it did, it could get up to 6,420, but it looked like a short. It held that pattern and then it broke down. So this is looking okay. Even though this looks brutal, you're trading under yesterday's low, so it looks super brutal. The S&P 500 is only down 15 points, guys. Right? It looks like, holy shit, it's getting killed. No, it's not. It's only down 15 points. It could get right back up so easy. So easy. It could get right back up here. It's down 17 points now, so it's getting a little bit of downside push here because it's smoking all the stops from yesterday. Friday stops. That's Wednesday. Where's Friday? That's Friday's low. So I don't know if you'll get Friday stops, but you definitely got Monday stops. Definitely got them. See, the overall risk market's bearish today and crypto market's bearish today. So there is some aspect of that works. W is still the only crypto on the watch list that is up. Circle's up on the day, barely. 1%. Circle might be in an area of support here. It's an inside day, though. You're inside yesterday's range, so I don't love it. But people do love Circle. I mean, it IPO'd here, it moved straight up. The Circle becomes dangerous under July's low, right? As long as that can hold, maybe when August opens on Friday, see if we get a dip under that and a push back above it. If we do, we can buy Circle on Monday or Friday, because Friday will be white rabbit, white rabbit, white rabbit, the opening of the August candle. My favorite time of the month. The first of the month is always the best because that's when you get a new monthly candle, a new range. And we know they can open and put in very quick lows on uptrending assets. And the markets are pulling back today, but I'm not expecting them to top, right? Now, if the yen starts to pick up strength, then maybe something is going on, right? So if our USD JPY short starts to really work out really good, then I would say be more cautious about being long your Bitcoins and your S&Ps and your NASDAQs, because Japanese yen strength would be very suggestive of risk off in the markets. We're not seeing a risk off move yet on ratios. Everything is still very much risk on. Very much risk on. You're at highs. Pushing in the right direction for risk on. Risk on. What is the XLP doing today? Or this week? Very choppy. Very choppy. I don't love this on XLP, guys. Weekly support this is a defensive staple or consumer staple, but it's also known as a defensive ETF. Like whenever people are afraid that the market's going to top or put in a top or be the top, they will go into this. This thing is holding support for a long freaking time here. Man, I mean, it's still inside of June's range, so we're not fearful or we're not worried about a top being in on ES yet. If this breaks out to the upside, then we're going to have to worry a little bit. So basically, the best way to protect against anything that you think, like if you think the market's topping, is to buy puts and buy them when they're cheap. Puts are cheap when the VIX is under $15, right? That's about the norm for the VIX nowadays. Used to like $11, like before COVID, $11, $12, $10 was a normal range for the VIX. But since COVID, VIX normality is, not. You don't spend a whole lot of time. We just had a scare not too long ago that we could put in several months of sideways down here on the VIX. And if you do that, you're going to see a very slow move higher for a very long time on the ES. So just because the XLP is not getting killed doesn't mean anything. Because XLP is consumer staples. There are some good companies in that ETF. If it breaks out and starts making highs, then I would be a little bit cautious though. IWM also pulling back today. Back under yearly opening range right now. You've got an ascending wedge here on the IWM. A breakdown out of this could put the IWM down to 215. There is a measured move to take after this. $209 is a measured move. So 215, if you break down, could be a decent target for puts. Let's see. Let's pull up the IWM. As if we break down, what? What do you mean there's no options for IWM? What is your deal? Let's see what we got on IWM for a longer term breakdown potential here. So looking at the chart, we're not breaking out of this formation yet. So tomorrow we'll have high impact news, a rate decision if they don't cut rates, which no one's expecting them to cut rates. So the IWM could break down out of this formation tomorrow. If they do a crazy thing and hike or lower interest rates, they cut interest rates tomorrow, then the IWM would be very bullish, I would assume. But no one's expecting that. So we'll have to see how the IWM closes today. But if it does, we could put on like a 2-week out of the money put. Because I think we could see a pretty volatile move down to 220. Well, I said 215. Let's see if we go out 24 days. So we could put on a 215 if and only if we get the breakdown and no rate cut tomorrow. So it might be a trade to do tomorrow, not today. We'll see what it does today, and then if it breaks down and we don't get a rate cut tomorrow, we could potentially buy an out of the money put about 3 weeks out, because if we do break down out of this formation, I think you could see a stronger bearish push. I don't know if you'd get all the way down to 215 in 3 weeks, but maybe 217s. We'll see. We'll think about it. We'll see what happens. We can't do it today yet anyway, so we'll just have to wait. But yeah, I'll be interested in that for sure. Bitcoin's testing daily support right now. Also testing last week's midpoint. So this is the area where some people will want to be a buyer looking for trend continuation higher. Right? Last week's open is just below that, so maybe wait on that and see what kind of a reaction that ends up having on Bitcoin later on today. Since tomorrow is the FOMC, guys, I am not expecting much more continuation on these things today. Like, I don't expect today you'll see something like this on Bitcoin. I think you'll probably see Bitcoin slowly start to chop around today, here, afternoon, because tomorrow is a big day for news. So we're seeing gold start to move higher here. We want to wait. We want this to give us support or a resistance test. Which you're doing that now, but are you doing that here? Not quite. The blue trend line is the line chart trend line. The line chart trend line is taken from this broader wedge formation here, and it's just the line chart. And that's going to be the blue trend line. So you're testing that now. The white trend line is going to be your candlestick wick lows. So July's open, a full-on test up there. I will probably short gold or GLD. As long as it can stay under 308.56 on an intraday basis. I don't know that you'll get all the way back up there. There is a 4-hour resistance coming in at 307.40. So we'll watch that price first. Four-hour resistance. Just to see if we can get up into that. And if we can, tomorrow I might short this. I hope it doesn't just roll over today. I don't think it will, because the news is tomorrow. SPX just put in fresh daily lows. Fresh daily lows, guys. So this is actually building up steam to the downside here. That's going to be last week's VWAP. Starting to build up some steam. That's after taking out those lows. So, I wonder if I should buy a call. Yeah, I'm gonna try a call real quick. Just because you had a liquidation and a bounce and then another deeper liquidation here. Let's see if it can take out Thursday's low. As that would also be, no, that's Thursday's low as well. Okay, Wednesday's low is all the way down here. So I don't think we have to, I don't think that's going to be threatened. How many points are we away from that low? Can I sit in that much pain? Oh yeah, it's 6 points. Yeah, I'm gonna buy a call. Just for a bounce. Not looking to hold this all day or anything. I'm just looking for a 10-point bounce. If this thing starts closing 5-minute candles and digging lower than that, then I will get out. But I think it'll throw a wick down there, maybe fill that itty bitty gap. I mean, it's already been filled, but fill me on that short, on that long, dude. What are you doing? I'm trying to get filled. Fill me, bro. Thank you. So yeah, if it continues to push deeper, then I'll exit it. But you're probably gonna bounce and trade sideways for the rest of the day. If I had to guess, which I do, because I have no idea what price will do. I never did look at MRK, did I? Let me look at it real quick. I don't know. What is this? Merrick, a drug company. It's been getting crushed. 4-year downtrend on Merck. It did really good for the Rona, but it is coming into a huge level of potential resistance. Yeah, you got some quarterly swings here. This should be real close to an area of support. I said resistance, I mean support. I mean, if you're trading under 107, then you're under support, right? And you're in danger of running much lower. But as long as that can hold, I don't mind owning it. You got earnings coming up in the first week of August. So it's not going to be, it'll be next week, next Monday. August opens up Friday, so Monday you'll get your earnings. But yeah, 107, if it can hold that longer term, technically it looks okay. So let's pull up a long-term line chart. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look great. Are they looking to release some kind of new medicine or something? I don't know, but technically that's a good sturdy level. It held for a long time. January 2015, you really couldn't break out until Rona, until they come out with the, the jab that helped them break out. So that's the area you want to see it hold. I think people will buy that based on that technical level alone. Whether or not it's good enough to keep it supported, I don't know. But it's about in the area to look to maybe start putting a few shares in the old portfolio. Okay. And then TRX looks strong. It's strong relative to a lot of other cryptos, that's for sure. Ooh, it was very strong today. Earlier, it's pulling back now. I don't like this chart at all. Why do the candles look like that? This isn't traded on Coinbase? What? Let me pull up the perps. There you go. That looks better. Yeah, this is probably going to be it for a while on Tron. That looks like a big ass, like almost like a blow off type of move here. I would essentially be okay with looking for shorts at 33.86 on Tron if it fails to close higher 30-minute candles than that. It's coming into an area where people are going to look to buy it because they're looking for upside continuation. So if that area holds a support, I would not be shorting it. But if you break under this and test like this 618 and bounce, I would want to see the highest it bounce would be up into this region. If it can hold that, I think I could short this. Looking for this move to just be one huge final liquidation push. Now, I could be completely wrong, but why is this strong when everything else is weak? Right? So there could be some fundamental reason why this is happening. If that is the case, I would leave it be. Leave it alone. But if there is nothing, so it had news yesterday. Justin's son backed Tron. Treasury company files for $1 billion shelf statement with the SEC. Tron seeks $1 billion to grow TRX holdings as stock rallies. Tron files to create mixed shelf offering worth $1 billion. So it does have fundamental news. So be careful, right? We want to see it fail here, push into this area and bounce back up to this area, and we want to see this area hold. If it does, we can short it for a lower push, looking for this to potentially just be a runoff, a huge liquidity draw. Now, it took a long time to draw on that liquidity. It pushed much higher for almost 2 hours because your liquidity was setting right there. That's your swing high. So see how much time it's spent trading above that area. So your momentum traders are definitely looking to trade this today. But there's news tomorrow, big news, fundamental news across all markets. It's a 10% move to the upside. So it could be very volatile. You could see big moves above this spot. So that kind of has to be my line in the sand. Otherwise, I would just leave it alone. But yeah. Yeah, thanks for calling this out. I will definitely keep my eye on this today. For sure. Because if this is done, like if that's it, it could give all of today back. And I would love to be short if it done that. So we have the area where we would be looking for shorts upon failure. Just getting back to the open would be a 5% move. That would be my target. All right, so I'd be looking for a 33.84 short entry as long as price fails to push higher than that, and my downside target would be 32.25. S&P's bouncing. Kind of like what we thought would happen here. Let me see what that. Yeah, we got to move. We got our move in the right direction. So that's a 10-point move. That's the scalp, right? If you took that long with me on the ES, you want to take profits now. That's the profit target. We were looking to risk 6 points to make 10 to 12 points. You got that. You got that. So you can bounce. That was quick, easy, wasn't it? That was a quick, easy win. Thank you. Thank you. I'll take my money now, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Nice doing business with you. Nice doing business with you. All right. So, is there any other questions? Because, like I said, today will probably likely be slow for the rest of the day with that big news yesterday or tomorrow. Pump is the only one up on my watch list. Yeah, Pump. I don't know enough about that. That's like I tried to pull that up the other day and I couldn't for some reason. Yeah, it's up. But it's giving it back. I mean, it did have a nice rip today, didn't it? It did have a nice rip. Let's just go from low to high and see what kind of a rip it did. 24%. Damn. Yeah, this is a low floater, so be careful. I don't know if I can even trade Pump. Let me see. Yeah, it's new. I can trade it. Will I? Yeah, the funding rate ain't that bad, and the funding rate is paying shorts. It looks like it wants to go higher. But same thing, like if it fails to close 5-minute candles higher than this right here, I think you can look for a downside scalp anyway. Be very careful though, because look at this 1-minute candle. Now you don't have that kind of volume right now, but you did get it. So at any time it could come back. I don't love this short. This looks like it wants to go higher. I think you'd probably be better off buying oversold readings than overbought readings. You would have been. Yeah, you didn't really get much of a move there. This is probably a fast moving biatch though. Yeah, that's a 2% move. So this thing is moving just as fast as Fartcoin. So this would be a good scalper for now. It's got, it had momentum earlier this morning. It's waning, but that doesn't mean it'll keep going down. If there's big orders soaking up the lows, then it could break out real hard to the upside. So if you are looking for short scalps on pump, I would make sure you go in with a stop loss. Do not just hit the sell button and watch it, because you could get a 5% spike to the upside in 30 seconds. You could do like big moves like that easily on probably hardly any volume. Those volume spikes can come in fast though, so be careful scalping this. But yeah, it's definitely up. And then let's see here. How about silver? That rounding bottom formation took years. It looks good on the month. It's late month, so I would wait until the August open before I got involved with it. Hang on, I wanted to get that fib range. Make this color for the month. Okay, you've already liquidated last week's low, so that would not be the target. It isn't anymore. You got it yesterday, and today you did not get upside continuation. But I mean, if it can hold this, it might be okay for a little bit more upside. I wouldn't be expecting a whole lot of upside, not with dollar strength. If the dollar is so strong right now, so it's going to hinder upside potential on silver today. You know what I'm saying? But I like silver for August as long as it closes above 37.66. Now August will be a whole new month, so we'll have to see what happens during August. But if July closes above 37.66, I think I would have more of a bullish bias going into August than a bearish one. But the dollar just bounced off of that trendline support, so we can see the dollar stay strong for a few more days. Ultimately, I think it'll go into a range bound scenario until we get closer to September's rate decision. So if that happens, then I think we would be able to look for scalps on silver. So I wouldn't do anything with silver right now. I'd wait till the August open. Maybe look for it to give us a first initial push lower to set in August's low, and then look for it to trade into or stay inside of July's range, and then look to be a buyer on a narrower time frame support level. But right now, I wouldn't do anything with it. I mean, if the dollar, everything will more than likely trade choppy and sideways from here on out today. I mean, silver has been trading sideways and choppy for a while. Since Friday. You've done nothing on silver since Friday. So yeah, a big move is coming either to the upside or downside. Just looking at this pattern, I would be expecting to break down. So if you're looking for short scalps on silver, you would be looking for a rip up above that and then a failure back under it. For the short, target would be the midpoint of July's range. But I wouldn't trade that for that, because you got a lot more macro stuff happening this week. So the chaotic intraday moves aren't going to be as easy, in my opinion. It just matters what everybody thinks is going to happen with the dollar next month, which is probably nothing, right? Because the rate decision is late September. Late September, I think. Oh, no, it's mid-month September, so we got tomorrow's rate decision, but nothing is expected to happen tomorrow. That's why if you get a cut tomorrow, wow, I think that would be a huge move on the dollar lower. I think risk markets would absolutely explode to the upside if you got a rate cut tomorrow. That's the risk going into tomorrow's rate decision. The expectations are that they do nothing, right? It's a 96% chance they're going to do nothing tomorrow. So if they come out and give a surprise cut, Bitcoin, risk markets are going to pop probably. But if they do nothing, then the next macro thing to look at will be non-farm payrolls. And as long as they come within expectations or better than expectations, then we'll probably see sideways to up for the month of August. And on the dollar longer term, you'll probably just set in a longer term range for the month of August. So like I'm probably expecting this breakout to go a little bit higher, maybe like 100, as that's a big figure number on the dollar. I mean, that's a daily hold. There's a daily close at $1 or at 100, right? So maybe it gets up above June's high, hits 100, and then falls back into a August range. And then look for range bound price action on the dollar till we start getting closer to September. Then I would expect a little bit more weakness then. But I don't know, it could be a false breakout here. Also, if it gets back in here in the next couple days, then who knows? Maybe the dollar wants to go lower now. Ultimately, I do expect the dollar to break this trend line. This is a long-term trend line, so there are a lot of longs with their stops setting right under 96.32. But the rate cut is so far away still. September 17th. So I would expect the dollar to be choppy most likely throughout that time. And that will have bigger implications on what silver and gold do. But yeah, since gold GLD broke down out of that pattern, a strong dollar helps the GLD short, which is what our bias is based on the breakdown of that longer time or that longer triangle formation. Because there is a big measured move here. So, I mean, will that have larger implications on the dollar? I don't know, right? I don't know. It's too many assets, too much stuff. We trade each asset based on its own price action. And then the macro will just take over, right? Macro investors will always take over what the technicals look like. If there's a fundamental reason to buy gold, it will not break down out of this. Or it could put in a false breakdown. It's going to be largely driven by what the dollar does moving forward. Dance on the graves. So you're looking for silver shorts. I would say that's probably more likely with dollar strength for the near term, but ultimately dollar weakness. USD instead of USDT. Oh, gotcha. All right, which one are you talking about? TRX? Yeah, that's what I did. Because USDT looked like crap. Didn't it? Or was it the other way around? Yeah, I just looked at the perpetual swaps instead of just USD, because you get that crazy garbage. Yeah. This is the last weekly open on Bitcoin entry. Looks like a good long entry so far. Yeah, you are testing a very important level. Last week's open. I don't know if it'll hold, but we'll see. FOMC rate decision tomorrow. I would love to see Bitcoin hold here, but even if it breaks down and puts in a trap, I'd be okay with that. So if we don't get a rate cut tomorrow, which we're not expecting one, if we don't get one, then we could see Bitcoin close a daily candle under this longer key support here, right? It could close under it. But as long as the next day opens and starts to push higher, I would be okay with owning it here in this area. If it opens the next day and starts to push lower, then we have to be careful, because a deeper correction could be coming. It could be looking for this, right? That is if you break down close under. So there's still a whole lot of things it has to do for us to get a more accurate near-term analysis. When it's like this, when it's doing this, it's anybody's guess as to what's going to happen. It's anybody's game. Because the point of controls from the last couple days looked more bullish. But you can see we're currently trading under those 2 points of control. Oh, you've done a liquidation run already. Oh, technically, Bitcoin should be good to go higher from here. But tomorrow's a news announcement, so it may not do anything for the rest of the day. It may trade inside this box until 2 o'clock tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So we just have to wait and see what happens tomorrow. But yeah, this is last week's open and right at the previous week's midpoint. And you liquidated yesterday's low. I don't expect we'll see much more continuation lower today, but anything is possible. Anything is possible. I think the bigger move that we caught that on these alts up here. We're looking good. But as you can see, we really haven't gained much. You know what I mean? Like, this one has worked out a little bit better for us. And we took profits on this one. So, I mean, they still look good, but our unrealized gains are 603 right now. Our unrealized gains have been between 550 and 600 for 2 hours. You know what I mean? They're not. Everything is kind of like just slowing down. That momentum, that's probably it for the day. But we knew that coming into today. We knew that. It was a big driver on the reason why I closed took profits on that hype. Was because I was expecting it to the volume to dry up. Based on tomorrow's, we got a GDP print at 8:30, and then at 2 we're going to have FOMC, the meetings or the minutes released. Now he's not going to release any dot plot or anything like that, so it's just a rate decision. That's why it's not a huge event, but it is still. It could be. Could be a liquidation event. It could be a lot of things. And like I said, if they come out and shock the world and do a rate cut, woo-wee. Yeah. Wait for a huge move lower and then buy that bitch. That's going to be the plan tomorrow. So we might not go live first thing in the morning tomorrow. we may just wait until the rate decision to go live, because I think tomorrow morning's trade will be very slow and sloppy. So we might as well wait for that rate decision. All right. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Make sure you guys trade safe, trade smart, and as always, happy trading, everybody.